brothers and sisters who gathered here, we are going to start an 8-lesson series of study on the colors and sounds, a spiritual way of looking at things. That means the more scientific way of looking at things than the present scientist looks. This is because spiritualism is an integral whole of religion and science. Religion forms half of it, and what we now call science forms half of it, and no one half is complete without the help of the other half. A correlation of scientific knowledge with religious discipline and religious belief includes the eternal wisdom of the ancient scriptures, and it forms a more scientific integral whole than the scientist of any age has, and more religious integral whole in the sense that it carries with us more veneration and more honor of the subject. And it leads to a better devotion than when the religious belief is demanded from us, or when the unilateral key which we call understanding is only applied to it. Because the process of analysis and the key which we call understanding, they are not enough to cover all the subjects that are in nature. After a certain process of understanding of any subject in nature, we come to a certain point where understanding is of no value and intelligence is of no value. There comes a stage when we have to do something and get some results, and then correlate one result with the other. For example, the process of yoga practice or the various branches of occultism, in these fields intelligence has no place at all, because understanding is not the one that is required. For example, a piece of iron to become a magnet, it is not the understanding of the subject magnet that is required. It is the process which is to be undergone by the iron piece, and the change that takes place cannot be either explained or understood by any number of volumes. For example, if you take a little piece of iron and begin to rub it with a textbook of magnetism, even if you do for 10 years, nothing happens. It is a magnet that is required and not magnetism. The ism is only an attempt to understand, whereas the touch of the magnet is what is called the process, which the spiritual scientist calls ritual or magic or ceremonial activity, which is governed by the seventh ray of the seven rays. So, in every branch of learning, the understanding and thinking is only an introductory process. It forms what is called the preliminary preparation before we enter the ritual hall. If we die in the process of understanding many sciences or subjects, we will be born once again as a perfect fool of any one of these subjects. We have to know once again from the alphabet. For example, if we learn 20 or 30 languages thoroughly and have the degrees and diplomas with us, and with all those degrees on our heart, if we die, the next birth will not carry any one of the informations of these diplomas. If we were born once again as a German, we have to learn again from the alphabet. This is the value of understanding and intelligence. But at the same time, it is the preliminary step and it is as necessary as any other step. Without understanding and intelligence, the advanced steps can never be approached at all. I only want to point out that it is not the only thing required, and it is also a thing which is as necessary as the other steps. At the same time, the spiritual science shows us that making and becoming are the processes required, which are more important than understanding and intelligence. If you take the human personality as a flower having 100 petals, intelligence is only one petal, and the blossoming of one petal cannot be called the blossoming of the flower. This is all what I want to present to you before we enter into a spiritual study of sound and color. The second point I want to tell you is our intelligence and understanding should be correlated with making or doing something and becoming. Becoming means one thing becoming another. So if the two processes are correlated, then we call it spiritual study. So a scientific study and a religious discipline put together form the spiritual study or spiritual approach. Many times, of course, spiritualism is confused with religion. In fact, it is not. And many times, a scientific approach is considered to be the final, which is also not true. So let us proceed in the required direction, in the direction prescribed by the authors of the scriptures and the professors of these books in a grand university which we can call the universe. The professors are called the masters of wisdom. Let us follow their path, because for the time being there is no university which has the stature to give us spiritual science, and there is no university professor who can teach us the spiritual subjects. So our universe is the real university. Scriptures are the textbooks which forms the syllabus, which are wrongly understood as stories and fables, because people approach them only with their intelligence and understanding. So let us follow the path of the masters of wisdom in trying to understand the spiritual subject. Now we have an 8-lesson seminar, that is, we have time for 8 lessons. Let us distribute the subject into 8 lessons. The first lesson is introduction, which includes the understanding of the scope of the subject. The second day lesson includes correspondence, that is, the law of correspondence applied to the study of the colors and the sounds. The third day lesson includes the use of sound, and then the fourth day lesson teaches us about the use of color, that is, how sound is used and how color is used. For example, A musician who is also a born musician knows how to use the sound, and a painter and an artist who is also a born artist can teach us how to use the color. These are the aspects we are going to deal with in the third and fourth lessons. And the fifth lesson deals with correlation of the two, which in its true sense called music, along with the color, sound and shape keys put together. In the ancient days, when the science of spiritualism was more popular than now, and when the previous humanity was above and beyond political way of living, and when the ancient nations had something in common to learn and teach, they used to call it drama. That is, the use of sound, color, form, conversation and gestures and posture, along with what we call the preparation of the environment, correlated with the shape key, which we call the makeup of the character of a drama. The whole process was called drama, and the word used by them was mystery in one language. You know about the Greek mysteries and Egyptian mysteries. Similarly, you have the ancient Indian mysteries, Babylonian and Mesopotamian mysteries. They contained the astrological wisdom, the cosmological wisdom, the origin of the universes, and the origin of the individual, and their correlation, along with the teaching of the discipline, which we call the science of civics and social science, yes, and the ethical science. All these put together, they used to call them mystery temples, where the mysteries were played. So, the drama is a correlation of all these things. But the word drama is used only in a very poor and unilateral sense in the modern age. Let us try to know in what sense it was used, and what was the intended effect, and what was the result they got. The result was called the result of initiation, and initiations were in the form of dramas and mysteries. In the future also there comes a time when the present political century will go away, and there will be an understanding of the human society through group relations, from the point of view of group contact and group consciousness, trying to make the humanity live in soul awareness. And in those days, in the future, it may be after 50 years or 100 years, there will be once again a reopening of these mystery temples and a reorganization of these drama teaching classes in the future universities. So, something about these correlations of sound and color we will speak on the fifth day. On the sixth day lesson, let us try to learn something about the healing and the use of sounds and colors in healing. The seventh lesson must be on meditation, the use of sound and color in meditation. The eighth day lesson must be on symbolism, that is, the symbolism used for sound and color. For example, if we say the utterance of the sacred word, the sentence includes some symbolism about sound and color. If we have to explain the word utterance, it is not enough if we speak of the vocal cords, because the vocal cords are only parts of the instrument of utterance, whereas it is not the vocal cords that are uttering the sounds. We are uttering the words, and the vocal cords are being used as instruments of utterance. So we have to go beyond the functioning of the vocal cord to another and finer instrument, which we call the mind, and how the mind operates the vocal cords, and the origin of the intention which we call utterance. For example, if we want to utter something, we should get the idea that we should utter. That is called intention, and unless we get the intention, it cannot be translated into terms of mind. And where from this intention comes to us, and how it is translated into the terms of mind, and how it is further translated into the terms of language and sound, these are the things that are to be traced, and the keyboard that is required, the keyboard, is to be explained. For example, if we want to use the typewriter or any sophisticated machine, it includes its own keyboard and its own alphabet, into which we are to be familiarized. Similarly, the utterance has its own apparatus in us, its own keyboard, its own translating mechanism, and its own translators working as a team, translating in terms of sounds, colors, and forms. These translators are called in the scriptures the messengers between devas and the human beings, called the messengers of God, whose guardian angel was called Mercury, who is also called the messenger of gods. Then we will be able to understand something about the advanced science of the planet Mercury, who is functioning through our throat center in translating our thoughts and intentions and feelings into sounds, syllables, sentences, and conversations on one side, and facial expressions on the other side. So he is working with a correlation of sound and form. Like this, sound and form. Like this, every planet is working through some mechanism of our constitution, and the working of each planet forms a science of that planet. A proper approach is possible by knowing the keyboard of these expressions or utterances, and the whole keyboard is placed equally spread in the cerebrospinal activity of our body. The cortical cells of our brain and the nerves in the brain and the vertebral column, they form the proper instruments that contain this total keyboard, and the channels that are there in the spinal column, that are very fine, and the space between one spinal bone and the other, they form the pathways of these devas coming and going every minute, every moment, making this keyboard function. Whenever we have an intention to utter something, or express something. For example, if I want to say this is a chalk piece, it requires a sentence. The sentence requires some words which are to be used in the capacity of subject, predicate and object. And these words require syllables. These syllables require sounds. And with the help of this keyboard, these devas help us to utter the required sounds which produce the required syllables in the required manner, so that they are recollected in the form of words, and the words recollected by the listener through his ear, translated into an integral whole, which we call the sentence, and then the sentence translated into the idea or intention. So much process is going on with every conversation of ourselves, though we are not conscious of it at all. The more we are unconscious of the process, the more blindly we use our words and expressions, and the more blind a life we lead, without having an awareness or mastery over our own emotion. And the more we are familiarized with these parts of the machines, the more we get familiarized with the total working of the machine, and then we can live with a perfect mastery over the machine, when life can no more has any conflict with anyone, and we lead a life of only understanding everyone without the narrowed necessity of misunderstanding or getting irritated with anyone, or having wrong relationships with anyone. Thereby, we can prevent enmity between two people, two races, two nations, and two countries, by having a proper understanding of the science of spiritualism. So, we are expected to speak something of the symbolism of these sciences. When we say utterance, the word utterance requires so much of explanation before we can have an idea of its scope of application. Suppose we use the utterance of the word. We utter many words without knowing the process of utterance. And when we clearly know the process of utterance, we can utter every word with full awareness. And then, if we know what the sacred word is in creation, the one word from which the whole universe came out, in which the whole universe exists, into which once again the whole universe merges, then we can know what that word is. Now we are not in a position to know what that sacred word is, for the simple reason that we are also part of it. So, through an artistic process of studying the symbolism and applying it through the law of correspondences, gradually this sacred word makes its manifestation to us. It gives its awareness to us, and we begin to grow aware of it more and more. This is the scope of the 8th lesson, that is the symbolism of the word utterance and the symbolism of what we call the sacred word. For example, the sacred word is called Om, but it teaches us nothing. because Om is only, the written Om is only a symbol of the original word. I will give you an example. I say, good morning, sir. Instead of uttering it, I write it on the board in a language which is not known to any one of you. For example, of course, it is my regional language in India. It means good morning, sir. If I write it on the board and when you come, it makes no effect upon you. Similarly, if someone says that this is the sacred word, we know as much of the sacred word as you know about this. And sometimes we write like this. It is also equally not understood because it is only a symbol. We have to know what it is